Hello, sir. Welcome. Welcome to VR Entrepreneur Association. This is an organization built on to develop the youth and entrepreneurship in Bihar. A lot of people are eager to know about the IoT as well as AI, ML, and robotics, as well as AR, VR. So people want to start their company on IoT, based on IoT. Even a lot of IoT company in India are getting funded day by day, and they are growing rapidly in India. If you see the calendar in India, we have earlier very less number of a startup in IT sectors, but in current time, Delhi and Bangalore is one of the top cities to run the IT and develop the startups in IT.
Right.
So I would like to welcome Mr. Sunil Kapadia. He is a chief blockchain innovation in Inferenz, and he will today share his thoughts on IoT, AR, VR, and AI. So, before going to start, I would like to introduce him. He is very passionate about blockchain. He has did a lot of innovation in blockchain. Apart from that, in earlier days of IIT, I think in 2012 and 13, he has done a tremendous job in IIT, Arduino board, and the Raspberry Pi. He has done a very good lot of automation samples in IoT. Even the in automotive sectors also he have done so many laboratory things and developed so many applications based on IoT. And he's continuously research in IoT only. So let's start with Sunil sir.
Thank you very much, Sachin, for inviting me on this stage. So, thank you very much, guys, whoever is listening. A very happy good morning to everyone. So, let me just introduce myself again. I'm Sunil Kapadia. I'm heading the entire blockchain and AI divisions at the company called Inferenz, which is situated in Gujarat. The point is, Sachin talked a lot of things about me in terms of IoT, in terms of AR, VR, in terms of blockchain. So I am work. I've been like I total have 14 years of experience, and currently since last 5 6 years, I'm into research around artificial intelligence, research around IoT, augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, blockchain, metaverse. So the point is, everything, every technology, every you can say decade or something, a newer technology comes to the market, right? And we need to be very much aware of what is the technology about, how to leverage that technology for the solutions you already have, how this technology can you can say help you in order to build something new. So all these things come up to, or you can say streamline to a set of particular technologies that currently starts with IoT and AI/ML. Now, why IoT is necessary? AI/ML, we are all aware. Like since 1980s, the standards of AI or the technology around AI or the programming languages supporting, we had all these financial models in terms of finding out the next sales target and everything was there. But the main challenge was the data, because data is the next generation, or the new word for oil is data now for this century, right? Now the point is, in order to generate data, we need to have sensors, right? All the smart factories, or we are talking about industry 4.0, where we say that okay, the factories are able to generate tremendous amount of data, and based on that we can have multiple models working in the background, which can leverage in terms of the artificial intelligence in such a way that it can bring down the time, you can say breakdown time, or it can tell you that exactly what sort of problems are you are going to face by using predictive maintenance and all. But ultimately the all thing boils down to one point, that what to do without data. Now in order to generate data, the first thing is you need IoT, that is Internet of Things. Now the point is, every now and then you will encounter a device saying that this is a smart device. Now most of the smart devices in the right now in current market, they have only mobile application through that, and those devices or sensors are connected to internet, so you can just turn off on and off you're using your mobile application or website or whatever it is. Now the point is, this is not smartness, right? Everybody thinks that okay, because I can operate using a mobile, so it's a smart bulb, or you can control the luminosity in your room, then it's a smart bulb. No, yeah, I agree that there is some sort of smartness in like connecting that particular non-living thing to internet, but the real smartness lies where, let's say, I have a smart bulb in my home, and I enter, so that luminosity, after detecting me, automatically changes to my liking. My father enters, then automatically after accepting or understanding that, okay, after recognizing that this is my father and he likes a different ambient background, correct? So based on that, if the light changes according to our, you can say, recognition, then the smartness is added. Now, in order to do that, what needs to be done? The AI has to find out that whether that face which is being targeted right now by the camera is mine or somebody else's. So, at the background, a particular algorithm works. It identifies that, okay, this is Sunil Kapadia and this is his father. So, the point is, and based on that personal identification, the light gets adjusted. Now, this is a very simple example of IoT plus AI. Now let's talk about the industry standards. Let's say you are having a manufacturing industry. Now over there, boilers and number of other instruments are working in line to make a product line proper. Right now, the point is, any system goes down, your entire product line comes to a halt. And based on that particular issue, because it is not a, you can say, desired breakdown, then you are going to lose money, because then you are not able to produce the things which are supposed to be produced, and it will not be consumed in the market. So ultimately, you will lose money. Now, in order to find out these things, because machines are working 365 days a year and 24/7 in certain cases, and certain cases, let's say, at least 12 to 15 hours a day. Now, machines also require maintenance. Now, whenever machines like work beyond their capacity, the maintenance issues or the service issues start. Now, if you have already planned the downtime, then it's okay. Then you can go ahead, you can generate a very different pipeline, and you can transfer everything over there, and you don't lose business. But the point is, this is a predicted maintenance. The point is, what if the downtime is unexpected? Let's say a particular boiler was supposed to work at the temperature of 35. Now, due to some reasons, when the plant, mostly the plants are automated nowadays, right? So the what happened is that the temperature rose to 40, and that boiler stopped working. Now, what happened ultimately? Somebody knew, but again, because it was not expected, the second line was not activated, and that is the reason that by probably for a couple of days your production will stop, and ultimately you will lose business. So what can be done? Predictive maintenance is the solution for this problem. So based on your current machine setups which have enough amount of IoT sensors, let's say a pressure sensor, let's say a temperature sensor which is keeping a keen eye on whatever the boiler temperature is, and then anomaly detection. So whenever an anomaly is detected across all or any machines or all the machines, an immediate concern is raised, and then you can take the necessary action before it reaches to critical condition. Because if it reaches to 40, it will definitely stop. But the moment it stops or it reaches 36, if somebody starts to take care of the problem, then it will not reach to a critical condition, and it will not a stop for your business. Correct? That is one thing. Second thing, because you know that the machine downtime is approximately, let's say, in a month or so. So based on that particular prediction model, what is that? Based on the collected data from or IoT sensors data from your machines, a machine keeps on running eventually every single day, every single hour. And then it predicts that, okay, this is the probable downtime based on the service criteria or based on the historical data. Now, in those conditions, what happens is, if you are aware, so that you can take necessary steps or actions to, you can say, eradicate the problem and move ahead, right? So that is one more thing. Now let us discuss about something in terms of automotive industry. So in automotive industry also, most of the plants are automated, the cars are manufactured and everything. Let's say a manufacturing industry is producing a high end car. Now, due to some reasons, the cars, some sensor was like recording and everything, but let's say if the sensors are not recording or the sensors are not producing enough data for artificial intelligence to work, and the initial testing will fail, and that will put a, you can say, huge dent on the market. Why? Because then the car manufacturing company will not be able to enter the market on time. Now, every car's entry is decided based on the market trends. Let's say, like right now, currently in Indian market, if you look, most of the SUVs are coming in the market. The regular SUVs, the compact SUVs, and all. All of a sudden, the sedan now starts in a different. Now, sedan is put in a different category. Now, most of the people now like to buy SUVs for off-road driving, on-road driving, and that gives a masculine effect or whatever you say. But it is there, right? So the point is, you have been hearing this about, I mean, you have been reading in the newspaper also about these problems, that every now and then the car industries have to pull back certain cars because of certain issues detected later on once the car is, you can say, in the market. But the companies who have these prediction models, who have these sensors recording immediately every second of data, and they are constantly looking for any anomalies, let's say while producing also, if any
Uh,
anomaly is detected.
Sunil sir, just to stop one thing, one question from he is the Secretary General of Bihar, Mr. Abhishek sir.
Okay.
He want to ask how blockchain is helpful in agri and logistics sectors.
Okay, so for blockchain as supply chain or a logistics sector, blockchain plays a very vital role. Now, let me tell you why. Now, let's say the blazer which I am wearing right now, yeah, I bought from a very reputed company. Now, the point is because of that particular item, I paid 6,000 or 10,000 rupees. Now, the point is why. Now, I can buy this particular blazer from any other market. It is going to cost me 2,000, but I paid 10,000 rupees. The reason is brand. Now, the point is, whenever we are talking about logistics, so the only challenge is data corruption, right? We have been hearing on Amazon also that on Amazon or any e-commerce website, when you go ahead and buy something, people like write down then in Twitter or something that okay, I received a bad product or I received a faulty product and something like that. Now, the point is, this all comes in the sectors of logistics. The main point of using blockchain is blockchain has that particular immutable ledger. So that means once something is entered into blockchain, nobody, even the guy who has entered the data cannot change it. So in logistics sector, the main issue is data immutability, and the second issue is data corruption. So if two sectors can be tracked using the use of smart contracts effectively, then from the journey to the end, to the last mile delivery, everything can be tracked, everything can be extremely transparent, everything is immutable. That is so there is no point of data corruption. And that is the reason that most of or the bigger giants, let's say Walmart, they use supply chain and they use Hyperledger Fabric to implement their own supply chain network to avoid such data corruptions. Now, this is the season of mango, right? Everybody says that this is an organic mango. Where is the proof that this is an organic mango? Like just by putting a label over that mango that this is organic is not going to convert that regular mango into an organic one. The point is, if the system is completely designed using the IoT, so IoT sensors collects the data with the use of smart contracts, updates the entire blockchain ledger so that every single time something changes or the products change the hands, then blockchain comes in the picture. Blockchain writes down everything into smart contracts. Using smart contracts into blockchain network, and then based on that, the entire immutability line is established so that you are completely sure that there is not a single point of data corruption in the entire line. As well as whenever you want to change something, it is a common you can say assumption that if once something is entered into blockchain, nothing can be changed, but it can be. Yes, Sachin.
Yes, he also wanted to know about the how agri industry and logistics sectors can be
So
helpful
for
using blockchain. What we can develop in blockchain so that our farmers and the farmer producer
yes.
organization FPOs are getting fruitful help.
Yes. So for agriculture industry, what can be done is, let's say all the whatever the farms, if the farms are able to accept the or put the sensors, let's say using Raspberry Pi, very small if you are talking about. So in India, the agriculture is heavily dependent on you can say weather, right? But the point is the weather prediction is it's an application using you can use the mobile and everything. But the point is every now and then it is not possible, right? So that's a very simple IoT sensor. You can put a temperature sensor, you can put a wind sensor, you can put a pressure sensor on the Raspberry Pi. You can put that in your farm whenever it is possible to have a connected to an artificial power source. And every second or every hour, that particular sensor inputs the data using smart contract. So what happens then? Let's say if a particular crop, which is supposed to be grown under certain circumstances, needs to be grown in those circumstances only, but and the data is recorded using blockchain so that there is no point of data corruption. Now, saying this, what will happen is, let's say the crop gets failed due to some reason, then government has to initiate a refund or fund or something to support the farmers, right? But how can also government be sure that okay, this was not the doing of a farmer? So in that case also, if the data is completely recorded, the soil conditions and everything, then it can help both the ways. It can help the farmer also to you can say decide a particular amount of produce, and if something goes wrong, then it can be tracked back to government So government can have these sort of like blockchain implemented systems over there. If the every conditions is whatever the requirement is met using the smart contracts, the immediate payment to the farmer is possible, which in current case it is does not exist. And the point is it takes too much time, right? So if we establish a system using IoT and blockchain, this can be taken care of. So point these are like plenty of, I mean, companies also across the globe are working on this idea. But in India, we haven't seen this, but this is extremely necessary according to Indian market also.
Yes, nowadays I have also seen some of the startups are using IoT in their farming sectors.
Yes. So the use
Yes,
of drones also is there now, because to let's say there is a problem with the with the crop in terms of insects or in terms of any other disease, then these drones used to fly and they take pictures, high end resolution pictures, so that those pictures are then given to artificial intelligence, you can say algorithms, and those algorithms identify the particular disease immediately, and then it notifies the farmer that okay, this is about to rise, then please use whatever the necessary steps you are supposed to use in order to eradicate the problem. So this is how the entire combination of IoT and AI helps agriculture in a different way, or rather you can say a very modern way.
correct, sir. Thank you, sir. Now the question is I want to ask. First question is about the entrepreneurs' mindsets in youth, always thinking about to do new something new in
Right.
current trends. But what is
Right.
happening due to lackness of knowledge or due to lack of the knowledge and the not getting the proper resource, they are not able to start his company or they are not able to do on the what they want to do in IoT sectors. So, what you suggest in that manner so that he will be helpful to start his own company in IoT, even from what are the resources, from where he can get the knowledge, from where he can get the help on the IoT and blockchains. So, can
Right.
you suggest about it?
So point is, whenever you have any idea, so first of all, you have to lay down the entire idea from end to end. That what say the ideas can occur in two ways. One, there is a problem in the market and you are trying to solve it. The second is the problem may occur in future and you are trying to solve in advance. Now, in the second case, it is difficult to start because then you are anticipating the problem, right? You are not aware the exact problem which can arise, let's say, after a decade or so. But here, when the current problem is there, so always look for a current problem which is existing in the market, which will give you immense amount of data to work with. So prepare a plan that okay, this is what as an input for me in terms of data, and this is the expected output. Now, in order to collect that data, you need to identify the sensors required to do the same. So you can go ahead and check many sites in terms of like Mnet is one of the biggest sensor producing company in the world. Then Raspberry Pi, you can go ahead and check, which is a UK based company which produces the credit card size computers. Then you can go ahead with other resources on YouTube or on other technologies or other websites, but find out that typical sensors required for a particular requirement. Identifying those sensors will give you an idea that what sort of technology you are going to use. Let's say hypothetically, because you are a working professional, then you can go ahead and start with a simple POC. POC is proof of concept. Over there, what you can do is you can buy a very simple sensor which is going to cost you only 100 200 rupees. Use a Raspberry Pi which is going to cost you around 3 to 4,000 rupees, and you start building something over there. Start collecting the data. After a regular collection of data, pass that data to a data scientist, or if you can manage on your own, that would be great, and then try to come up with an idea that okay, this sort of data can produce this sort of output which can solve this particular problem. And this is the entire journey from data to decision, and that's what you are going to take if you want to convert your idea into reality, right? So first of all, look for the sensors required. Then use the any means of necessary in terms of either Arduino boards or Raspberry Pis or anything. Convert a very or create a very simple POC, but connect all the dots so that a bigger picture can be framed. So that is what any entrepreneur or anyone who is having any sort of idea should do.
This is Saad Alam is I want to ask. There is not proper training program IoT blockchain.
I agree completely, Dilshad, with you that there is a problem in terms of training on specific technologies like IoT and blockchain. But for that, I can just tell you then you can contact me anytime, because I can help you in solving any problem related to both the technologies. I've been working like in blockchain since last 5 years. IoT even before that. So the point is, I understand that there is a huge requirement, but the problem is our platforms are still not there. But as for beginners, you can go ahead and start with simple Udemy courses or something. Over there, very small courses are given to you, or so you can it can give you a better idea. But yes, IoT still you can manage. But blockchain is a complicated technology to understand, and there it's at that for that particular technology, you need to have somebody like me with you so that you can convert that idea into reality. But I agree. Currently, I haven't seen a very specific course which meets the industry standards for blockchain. That is for sure.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Again,
you. Thank you.
yeah, I wanted to know about. We can discuss about some IoT implementation in current IT trends, because a lot of
So
every day the IT is moving forwards, and
yes, yes,
what we are learning is always always 2 3 years back.
true,
In
true.
current situations, only some of the environments, some of the companies are growing, like IBM and other companies who is researching on daily basis. They are growing daily, but what we are gaining and we are learning is completely the old things.
True, very true. The reason is pretty simple, Sachin, that since 1947, after we got our independence, there has not been, there has not been a single discovery or single research in terms of a complete different product has ever been done in India. The point is, we have become followers in terms of that, like, whatever the trends going on in US or other countries, we follow. And that is the reason that because of that following, we always end up into following the technology trends which are there in the market. So in order to resolve that, what you can do is you can study whatever the trends going on in the market. So implementation in terms of IoT, the current trend is moving from even you can say predictive maintenance to now metaverse. Now metaverse is a big term. Everybody is like pretty much you can say conscious or pretty much you can say excited about this term. So the point is, this metaverse basically combines three, four technologies. One, of course, IoT. The second is blockchain, and third is AI at the core. Now the point is IoT. Now, what the main idea of metaverse is creating a separate universe or something like beyond universe. Metaverse means beyond universe. So the point is, what we are trying to do in terms of generating the data from IoT sensor using a technology called digital twin, and put everything into a place that can be visible to everyone, every decision maker in the company. Let's say you have production lines, you have wind farms which are located into remote areas, and it is not possible for you to visit every single day over there. So you have put the sensors, you have put the cameras over there, and everything is being broadcast to your own center or your own office. Over there, every single device is converted to a digital twin. Digital twin means exact replica of the device, not a physical replica. So using the sensors mounted on the device, you create a replica over here using digital twins, and then based on that data, you create a very interactive dashboard. Let's say the way GE uses, what GE does is, GE is Global Energy from UK, I guess. And the point is, what they do is they have created more than 160 digital twins like this even before 6 years back. And what they had done is they had implemented all the sensors over there, and collecting on the data, they put an AI layer over there, or basically a voice interface. So now you can talk to your machines. You can ask a question to the machine that, okay, what is wrong? What is any anomaly detected? A yes or no. And based on the historical data, the machine can take the decision on its own. So now you have a complete, you can say, automation plant on your hand. If even if you're not a single person is there in the company or in the factory, then the machines are also capable of implementing such a solution based on the historical data collected by IoT sensor using an AI algorithm. So that is the best example of how the things are moving ahead. Now the same things can happen. Let's say you have 10 wind farms scattered across the entire country. Now the point is, how are you going to keep track of all the 10 wind farms? Then you can create a metaverse of your own. Over there, all the data is being broadcast. And now at visiting the same place, you are able to see all the wind farms in such a way that you can practically go ahead and take a look at the camera feed, take a look at the sensors, and effectively keep an eye on all the plants altogether. So that is the beauty of metaverse. But metaverse combination of IoT, blockchain, and artificial intelligence.
Okay, sir. So now I would like to just asking few of the things because a lot of entrepreneurs in Bihar want to implement the IoT applications. So
Okay.
in BA, the youths will come and definitely ask for hand holding and mentorships. So
Yes.
in case of any doubts, our youth will definitely connect to you
Sure.
for the IoT and implementations, and please
Sure.
guide him to develop a best applications and best startup.
Yes. Yes, yes, very. See, I've been keeping an eye on the Indian trend market also since a very long period, and I'm waiting for a you can say a revolution that I can proudly say that this is a discovery or this is a research done in India, and this is a product now which is being consumed across the globe. Now I'm not talking about that research was never done. It is being done and everything is okay. The point is, let's say if we are talking about operating system, not a single operating system from India. If we talk about office suits, not a single office suit from India. It was like Ames Office or any other brand. So the point is, I want to create a product with anybody. I'm okay with that. The point is, I want to help anyone who has some sort of idea which can put our country on a bigger scale in the current IT market. Okay, Path
Another
says, what
question
are the
from
future?
Parth Jain. What are the
Yes.
future challenges of blockchain-based IoT solution?
Now, blockchain based IoT solution, the biggest challenge is still is collecting the data from sensors. Now, the point is the footprint of blockchain based solution is a bit on higher side if you are talking about private blockchains. So it is difficult to run your own node from a Raspberry Pi or something. It is possible, but it is a bit difficult. But in cases of public blockchain or you can say something like Quorum, you can deploy a Quorum network, a private network on your own. It will still behave like a public blockchain, but it is a private node. And over there, in terms of collecting the data and putting the data on blockchain network using the smart contracts. It is possible. The only challenge in terms of blockchain is okay. The only challenge is the combination of putting these two technologies together in a very small box. So the point is whether in the connectivity in terms of internet is also limited to all the countries in the world, right? Irrespective of whether we are third world countries or first world country, doesn't matter. In remote areas, the connectivity is still the problem. So the biggest challenge for IoT is collecting the data effectively. The second is passing that data to the server. And third thing is sensor maintenance. Because most of the time it happens that all of a sudden sensors start to die. And you have, if you are not planned, then it takes time. It registers a glitch in the data, and your ultimate solution will behave accordingly. Now, because of the blockchain, the data cannot be changed. So the point is, you need to have a very keen eye on the data trends. Now, what is the data trend? The data which is being generated by the IoT sensors also have some sort of pattern. Let's say if we are registering the temperature ranges of Ahmedabad as a city, then the temperature ranges from 45 degree to, let's say, 7 degrees in during the winter. So 7 degrees Celsius to 45 is a range. Now all of a sudden the temperature starts to record 0 or let's say 50, then there is a glitch in your data. That means your sensor is not behaving properly. Now because it is registering in the blockchain, the data is immutable. So before registering into that system, you can either create a system or middleware that can identify that, okay, this is a noise from the IoT sensor or not. But it is extremely difficult to identify the noise from any sort of IoT sensor. And according to a survey, almost 30 to 35% data is always considered as noise from any IoT sensor. So these are the future challenges use about the usage of blockchain in IoT in a solution.
And one is Ankit Abhishek wants to know how blockchain is different from database.
Now, blockchain cannot or should not be compared with database because database is something else. This is something different in terms of a technology. Yes, as far as storing data is concerned, you can compare that. Okay, this is both the systems store data. The main difference lies in the way the storing data happens. In normal database, anybody can any sort of data is not safe. It can always be hacked or it can always be corrupted by the person, right? But once you register something in blockchain, then again blockchain also uses a database as the core. That is not a point. The point is the way blockchain stores data in the database itself presents a different problem. Now let me explain in a bit detail. I'll take 5 minutes for this answer. Point is, let's say there is a system which is running over there. let's say that is a hospital. The hospital has the patient's data and everything, and automatically or all of a sudden some hacker hacked the hospital data, and using ransomware or some other virus, and the hospital has to pay. Why? Because they had to release the patient's data in order to take care of patients. Now, this is possible because that data is centralized and it is somewhere in the cloud or somewhere on the local server. But the point is, because it's a single point of failure is there, so it is possible. Now you can counter that. Okay, clouds can also replicate irrespective of geographical boundaries and all. But due to the current situation, also there are can be 3 or 4 data centers, and this can be corrupted easily because once it enters the system, it can corrupt everything. The point is, in blockchain, all the nodes are disconnected, directly not connected. Irrespective of something happens in the blockchain or some data happens on one node, even if that data is accepted by each and every node in the system, then only it will be registered. Otherwise, it will not be entered in the database. And that is the beauty of blockchain, that it stops the corruption at core. Plus, let's say if one of the node gets corrupted, so that every other 99 nodes are still okay. So then you can delete that node, create a new node, sync all the data back. Why? Because every single node in blockchain has the same amount of data. This is the beauty of distributed programming. And that is the reason that if that hospital should have blockchain implemented, then they could have just destroyed the node which is corrupted and create a new one. So it will take, well, let's say, few hours to sync the data, but you will not, you can say, render to, or you will not surrender to an attack. So that is the beauty of it. Now, Arihant has a
And
question.
Sabir.
Yeah. So will cryptocurrency replace all existing investment entity like stocks and mutual fund? Now it is difficult to predict right now that will this currency investment will, you can say, completely be on crypto, because crypto is still a, you can say, gray market. The cryptos are listed or which are generated by the companies and all, yes, they can, or the government also allows that. But there are still very huge amount of cryptos which are not listed or which are not generated properly and all. So I will not say they will definitely remove the entire stocks and mutual funds, but they will give a steep fight to stocks and mutual fund now. That is for sure, because crypto is not going anywhere. The next generation will be all around cryptocurrencies, blockchain, IoT and all. Because for your, I mean, you can say knowledge, everybody who is listening, even the cars now have blockchain wallets. So the entire ecosystem in automotive industry now, let's say your car can pay money. You can use the fast tags for payment. You can say wallet for you can say topping up your fast tags. Let's say you are driving through, your car can pay for your restaurant bills and everything else. But it is blockchain, so it is extremely secure. Even if the car gets stolen, you will not be able to, I mean, the person who is using that car will not be able to use without the particular key and all. The point is, if cars are connected or getting connected through blockchain, then it presents a completely different ecosystem. And that's where we, this is a very right time to leverage these technologies to design or to, you can say, build your startup from core.
One interesting questions. How to connect with
Yes.
Sunil sir regarding further queries if I want to implement blockchain based solution in business. I would like to answer this question here. You can connect to us in VA office. We will give you all the details of Sunil sir. In case Sunil sir also, if you need any more help, he can also visit your business centers. He can also help. So just connect to VA office. We will provide you Sunil sir contact details and all thing, everything about Sunil sir. Just connect to us. So some of definitely students are definitely some. I think one more query is not stopping. Some query are coming pop rapidly.
Okay, so the question is how metaverse will affect human brain. Now, if you have ever seen a virtual reality glass like Oculus Quest or Google Daydream or Samsung or from HTC Vive, the entire technology puts you in a different world altogether. Let's say you are afraid of heights. Using that glasses, you are still sitting on your bed, but still you will feel that you are flying in an aeroplane and you are moving down. The body gets affected very highly using all these virtual reality devices. Now, these virtual reality devices are the entry to metaverse. So it will affect human brain. I'm not talking about implementing some sensor in your brain. What I'm talking about, though we are aware that this particular technology is just a technology and it is not real, but the mind perception is different. So mind thinks that it is real and it behaves accordingly based on your, you can say, understanding or your wiring of your brain, right? So it will definitely affect the human brain, but in a positive way, not in the negative way. Why? Because now let's say you want to travel this France or the Statue of Liberty and all. Now due to this corona situation, for almost 2 years everybody was at home. Now using these glasses, you can roam around the streets of Paris, you can roam around the streets of New York or any other city in the world, if that particular project or YouTube VR is there, and you will feel that you are standing, you can see the people passing by. It's not a 360 degree video, it's an immersive experience that puts you on a different scale altogether. And that is the reason that this virtual reality, augmented reality, or mixed reality will put you on a different scale.
Mayuru Sivam is there. What is the current major issue in blockchain technology and why a solution has not been found?
Now, this is a pretty typical question wherever I get. People are always eager to, but the point is, whenever a new technology comes in the market, it solves certain problems, but it creates a problem of their own, right? The point is, this technology is still pretty new, right? But again, most of the problems are being taken care of. Let's say the first problem is storage, right? Because every node has the same amount of storage, then the expansion of data will be very high. So that's where the data sharding comes in the picture. Then let's say we at the second first POW and POS, that is proof of work and proof of stake. So the point is, Bitcoins and Ethereums, they still take too much amount of time to register a transaction. So that's where your layer 2 smart contracts or layer 2 blockchain frameworks come in the picture, like Matic, Solana, where over there the transactions happen in milliseconds. So that is also taken care of. The third problem was in blockchain. Let's say if I started with Hyperledger Fabric and I want to move towards Solana, or I started with Solana and I want to move towards Matic, then the intercommunication between these blockchain frameworks also was an issue. Now that is being taken care by Polkadot. Now it is, they solved some problems and there might be some other problems going on. The fourth problem was the smart contracts. The way the entire smart contract functions is, the smart contracts don't accept any outside data, right? So that API integration is out of the picture. That's where your Chainlink comes in the picture. Chainlink, what they did is they created the entire ecosystem over there. Using the smart contracts, you can still have the API data coming in to the smart contract, and you can function based on that data. So these were four major issues. Now they are being taken care of. This might produce a newer one, but it is still time for the same.
One more question from Alihan Samir. Will blockchain is best private blockchain or public blockchain, and whose future is bright?
See, basically, if you are saying that whether I should eat apple and an orange, that depends on you. Point is, the idea, requirement of that idea deals the technology or decides the technology, that whether the public is good or whether the private is good. What if you ask me, like, on a, you can say very upfront way, then I can say that both have equal amount of importance in the current world. The point is pretty simple. Private blockchain opens up for the businesses, and for rest of the people, public blockchain is important. Why? Because then it gives us an opportunity to be a part of something huge. But the main issue around is whether you have the resources. Do you like private or public blockchain to work with? Because both come up with different solutions. Like in public, there is Solidity. In private, there is Golang. Now, both the languages are pretty much different to each other. Now, a single person cannot learn everything in the same way. So you have to decide which language you like to work with. But currently, the entire market has more number of public blockchain solutions than private. That is true.
Nowadays, again, he wrote, nowadays Web 3 plus Web 2 equal to Web 5 is trending. What is the future technology?
No, I have not read this one. I have, like, this is Web3 only. Web3 is pretty new still, so I'm not expecting any Web4 pretty soon. Web3, yes, Web3 is basically that removed the entire idea of sharing your profile or data or everywhere else, and you can just utilize the wallet as your login, and you are not going to share any data with the public. So that is very good in terms of Web3 JS, because that is the only technology which allows you to use smart contract into real world using any front end technology.
There is nothing like Web 5.
Currently, nothing.
Some
Web
people
2
are
will
very much eager to know about Web 5 is also coming.
no, this is Web 3 only. I mean, if it is in progress, then Web 4 will be there. I'm not sure what combination or what people are thinking in that direction. It may happen, it may not happen. Currently, let us stick to Web 3, which is still very new, and let us leverage that technology.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much to join on Bihar Entrepreneurs Association platform. And our user Bihar will definitely gets a lot of knowledge from you today. And he will keep continuously connect with you. Once
Sure,
anyone who is interested to more detail about the IoT as well as the AI and blockchains, those can visit the office and they will get all the details. Even Sunil sir will personally help you there also for any stock if it comes. He is always with me and he's always with me. So I would like to thank you, Sunil sir, once again. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
thank you, Sachin, and thank you everyone who has been listening very patiently. Thank you for your time.
Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.